don't see the waiting room. There we go. Liz.
Hi, Paula.
Well, I checked with Molly. She said she's in the waiting room, but I don't show her in the waiting room. So we'll just hope they figure it out.
Okay, let's see.
There she is. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Paula.
Molly, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Are you at home or are you at the winery?
I'm at home. Yep. We'll see how many child and pet distractions I can get going here in the next hour.
Pet distractions are popular.
Hey,
Patrick. Hi, Heather.
So you're gonna do a few more of these and then call it good?
Yeah, well, next week, Letitia, I think is going to do one. And then after that, I don't know if we'll call it forever, but during harvest, people are not going to be available.
Yeah.
So we'll do it less often.
Yeah.
With a small, association, there aren't that many things, although there are some interesting combinations that can still be put together.
Yeah.
And also even like a winery and a restaurant, or a winery and a nonprofit, or, there are opportunities, but I feel like the winery's attentions are going to be focused elsewhere real soon here.
So.
I have all kinds of ideas, actually. It would be fun to have a rotating host as well.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
have it be the dynamic. Yeah, Kobe did one, and Mike Steiner did one, and that's super fun.
Yeah. How's the search going for the new director? Or is that too long of a conversation to have in the next 3 minutes?
I am not out of that process. Okay. I don't know what they are doing it, but I don't know what the process is or where they are in it. Yeah. The Morans. Oh, there you are. Now you're connected to audio. Yay. Oh, now you're not. Want me to unmute you, Patrick? Yeah, okay. Can do that. She's asking you, so you have to, there you go. I still can't say something, Patrick. See if we can hear you. It says you're unmuted, but your sound's not coming out. It's slow here. We have Sue Parker. Awesome. How far do you guys think you are from bringing any grapes in up there?
Well, we just did sampling yesterday on our, Pinot and Chard down here in Edna. I think we're probably like 10 to 12 days out on sparkling, and then rosé is going to be quick after that. Yeah, I don't know if it's that. Everything could push pretty quickly. We still got a lot of acid, but Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping we don't get too busy until we're on Labor Day. So
Yeah,
I have like 0 chems ordered. Like I don't know. We just hired our last intern today, hopefully. So yeah, I'm not prepared.
yeah. Well, for a while there, it seemed like it was going to be early, and then it cooled off. Now it
now it's hot again.
can relax a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully. Do you have an idea how many people signed up?
I don't, because we don't ask people to sign up, and the show goes on even if there aren't viewers, because Liz is putting it to Instagram and Facebook, and a lot of people watch that way, because after the show somebody will say, yeah, I watched it, it was great, and I'm like, I didn't see ya. But they're watching it in the other channels without coming on to the Zoom. Patrick, you lost your video, bro. There's a couple more people coming on. Okay, we'll get started without Patrick. He's got a chat, says he's joining on a different computer. That one doesn't have a mic. Yeah, I feel your pain. I've done that before too. All right, well, it's 5:01, so let's go. Welcome to 5:01 Wednesday, everybody. This is a weekly Zoom from the Slow Coast Wine Collective to talk about wine people and wine places and wines and wine regions, mostly of the coast, but we like to see what else is happening with our coastal folks. I'm Paula Dooley from Stephen Ross Wine Cellars, but really I'm here today for the Slow Coast Wine Collective. And we have Molly Bohlman and Patrick Muran from Niner Wine Estates. And Patrick's coming on in a minute here. So we're going to start with Molly. And my first question is always, what do you have in your glass right now, Molly?
Yeah, well, hi Paula, and hello everybody. I have some rosé because it's really hot today, so I thought it would be nice to have a nice, cool, refreshing glass of Pinot Rosé. So this is from our vineyard in Edna Valley.
Nice. Well, I have the 2018 Grenache, also from the Edna Valley, which I have not had before, and it is delicious. Thank you for this. I'm going to enjoy this one. I'll take a sip right now. And when I saw this, the first question that came to mind is, I know that you also grow Grenache in Paso, but do you make a single variety Grenache from up there as well?
We do, yeah. It's really interesting to grow Grenache in both areas. The vineyards are only 30 miles apart, but they're completely different climates, different soils, everything. So, you know, the Grenache from Edna Valley tends to be just like very kind of light and delicate, kind of floral, a little bit of spice, a lot of nice bright red fruit, good acid. And then in Paso, it's just like this monster where it's dark and dense and just, and Patrick can describe it because he makes the wines from Paso, but it is a completely different animal. It's almost like they're different varietals. It's pretty cool and we like to pour them sometimes like side by side for our club members and just have them react to them completely differently. So it's fun to make both Syrah and Grenache from Edna Valley and Paso and have the two in house.
There aren't that many of those magic varieties that grow in both temperate zones, but Grenache, I don't know as much about Syrah. Well, Syrah too, but I spend a lot of time explaining to people cool climate Grenache here. I don't have the other kind, but I just love that it presents so differently from two different temperate zones.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I almost think our Grenache from Edna Valley is almost more like a Gamay. It's just very like light and fruity and just delicious. And yeah, it's fun to make them both. They're very different, like I said.
Well, when Patrick, are you ready to be unmuted, you think? Give me a thumbs up.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Oh, there you are. Awesome.
I've
Okay.
got my technical director here to assist me. It's my wife, basically.
Excellent.
Fix my problems here.
Yeah.
But, happy to be here. Happy to be with you. And
What's in your glass?
the Edna Valley. So what's in my glass, in a coupe Verdad glass, you know, because this is one tight-knit little community. I've got the 19 Albarino that Molly made this last year, but I think it's an awesome light white wine, lower alcohol. It has the finesse points. It's got that salinity. It just does beautifully with a lot of different foods and things. And yeah, as we left about 95 degrees this afternoon, I'm down on the coast. I live in Pismo, and so I thought this was a nice little refresher to start the day or start the evening. So.
I've been calling Albarino the wine of captivity because you can start drinking Albarino at like 3. You don't have to wait till 5. You're at home, stuck at home. So one of the things that I find most interesting about Niner is how you guys have really been the leaders in sustainability in Paso, and kind of quietly so, I would say. Is the winery up there the first LEED certified winery in Paso, I think?
Yeah, it was built in 2009, and it was the first LEED certified winery on the Central Coast. There's definitely more now, but we were the first, and it was really important to the Niners when they built the winery and the tasting room and the restaurant to make it all LEED certified. So you know, a lot of stuff goes into that, but you know, it's a lot of energy conservation, water conservation, all that stuff. And then on top of that, we kind of built the sustainability certification in both the vineyard and the winery. So that kind of takes in more account of like the practices. So the LEED certification is kind of more to do with the infrastructure and the building. And then the sustainable certification is more on like the practices and the day-to-day, actually, you know, saving the water and treating our employees well, and all that kind of stuff is tied into that certification. So yeah, the sustainability thing is huge for us as a company. We probably don't talk about it as much as we should, but it's something that we're constantly thinking about and challenging ourselves to do better every year. So it's
and all of the acres under cultivation are, I would guess, SIP certified. And
yes, yeah, they are. Yeah, and then we are doing some organic farming methods as well, but we're not organically certified yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you have some new things along that front happening around the property, don't you? What's going on there?
Yeah, we do. Patrick has taken on this compost project, and I'm sure he would love to talk about that. It's pretty neat up in Paso.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny, one step begets the next in sustainability and that mindset. And so like I see of the evolution since 2009 of how we've progressed. And yeah, we started with the facility and all the functional aspects to it. And then that stepped into solar. And then that, you know, started me buying an electric car because I had free gas at the facility. Why not? And then, you know, you just kind of step into the next phase of it, and the latest one for me has been composting all of our waste product, because everyone in the industry has known, what do you do with all this pumice, you know, every year that you're generating all these things? Problem. And you can get big roll-off dumpsters, and that's a big mess, and then it's costly. You can, you know, hopefully find some neighbors with some cows. You can do some little silage out there in the fields, but I thought, well, let's try and turn this into a commodity that we can reuse in the vineyard. And so we started thermal composting to organic standards. And it's kind of an art. It's a little bit like winemaking. Like, you got to get the right formula right. You got to get the right pile size right, and hydration and stuff. But it is pretty cool what comes out of a bunch of stems and seeds and skins and wood chips and a few other things. What you can get out of it. So.
And then do you give it away or sell it, or does it just go back into your own property?
It just goes back in the vineyard for now. I've been doing making some compost teas as well, and applying those out in the vineyard. Using Dr. Elaine Ingram. I'm basing a lot of her research and science, and I went through her coursework, and she's really good at kind of getting the foundation of doing compost properly and returning it back out to the vineyards.
That's fantastic. We have my husband gardens, and he's got like a fish tank blower and a bucket of brown stuff, a couple of buckets of brown stuff, making compost tea for our tomato plant. I don't know where it goes, but it's quite a process on a little scale. So I can only imagine on a big scale.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is it close to the winery?
Yeah, it's close to the winery, and if it's done aerobically, it doesn't smell like it. You
Yeah.
don't get those nasty smells that you would associate with most compost piles. So we try and keep that so our neighbors are happy. We don't want compost drift going anywhere, but and so you stay aerobically and get up to 130 to 165 for 15 days, and you've pretty much cooked everything inside. We've gone so far as taking little campfire girls up to the compost pile and cooking eggs in them. So that's been our.
That is awesome. It's like, some people make sourdough bread and they talk obsessively about their cultures, and you've got your compost culture going back there.
Well, Patrick does that too.
Oh,
He does it both.
Yeah. I think fermenting like anything or composting anything is in my blood, because that's what I love to do. It's just like all these natural biosystems that really get excited about. So.
Transformations. And then what's an insect garden, Molly?
Yeah, so at our property in Edna Valley, we have pretty rich soils that have a lot of organic matter, so we don't necessarily need compost added, but I did use some of the compost to start a beneficial insect garden at Jesperson Ranch. And basically it's like right in the center of the vineyard, I've made a little garden that has 9 different native California perennial species that are pollinators and just kind of refuge species, so that we can kind of keep beneficial insects and hopefully build up their populations and have them kind of naturally control some pest species that we see in the vineyard. So it's kind of a cool project. It's pretty small. We might expand it next year if it works out, but it looks really pretty because there's lots of flowers and lots of plants growing right in the center of the vineyard, and we'll see how it goes, but it's something new for this year that we put in a couple months ago, so it's sort of our quarantine project at the vineyard, and yeah, hopefully it's a success, and we'll kind of
aggressive
on that.
You get some environmental science Cal Poly students out there to do the legwork.
Yeah, if we expand it next year, we'll definitely be asking for some help. Maybe some senior projects will come out of it.
Yeah, they're always looking for something good to do.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about today, which I think is so unique about Niner, is that a lot of wineries make wine from different temperate zones, but Niner Wine Estates is like totally invested into, like, you've got significant holdings in the north of the grade and the south of the grade. And how do you guys make that work at the winery? Where you make the wines and you taste the wines and you decide what to make.
Yeah, it's a little bit of yin and yang. You have those two poles, and they're kind of in different worlds. And so, yeah, it is a challenge, honestly, to have to tell that story and to have it manifest in the winery. But it also presents like a lot of information and opportunities to understand what is coming from a cool climate and what kind of qualities and how you can approach those things. Molly's really focused on that, and then I'm really focused on the Paso Robles wine. So it keeps my head in the game as far as what is coming out of Paso, cabs on the west side, cabs on the east side, things of that nature. And I try and really, in this industry, I think you can get diluted down with having too much to do and having a really broad focus. So it allows me to kind of stay in the game with the Paso wines, and conversely, Molly's able to really pay a lot of attention to Jesperson.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people obviously think of us as a Paso brand because that's where our tasting room and our restaurant are, and our winery. But we have about a third of our acreage in Edna Valley, and about 40% of our bottled wines comes from Edna Valley. So it is significant, and we're really lucky that we have great facilities up in Paso to make the wine at. We actually have 2 different wineries on the same property. So I'm able to make the red wines from Edna Valley all in one small winery that's, kind of set up specifically for Pinot Noir. And then we have our other facility where all the Paso wines are made, and my white wines and my rosé is made at that winery. So super lucky to have the just the variety of varieties to work with, and it keeps us all challenged. And as winemakers, we definitely are not bored because we get to help each other with blending on all the different varieties. And I think we're up to 19 different varieties designers, so it's a lot.
That was going to be one of my questions, because it seems like you guys put together a lot of different wines, and that's so much work, I know it's
Yeah,
a lot.
we just got done
Moving
with some
parts.
bottling, and it's a lot of SKUs for sure.
Yeah.
Something for everybody.
Probably a little premature aging too, but that's all right. Get a little
Yeah.
schizophrenic,
Moving parts are okay until they aren't. There's like a tipping point where like I got it. No, chaos has ensued.
Yeah.
Which
And
it
that's
comes
definitely
back.
that's key in having two winemakers, and we can kind of separate at least during harvest and have our own focus, and then kind of come together after harvest and help each other with blends and stuff like that. It's pretty nice.
And the little winery is the one by the tasting room? Is that the one you're talking about?
Right, yeah, it's just behind the tasting room, little stone building. So we got 2 levels, open top tanks, a basket press. It's small, but it's set up perfectly for, high quality, small lot Pinot fermentation.
Yeah, and under normal times, do visitors go in there? It's not COVID-19.
Up until just recently, when kind of indoor tasting got shut down again, we had tasting set up in there, and we normally year-round have that as sort of a reserved tasting spot, so it's by appointment and it's sort of a little bit more intimate kind of tasting setup. So right now it's in transition at the moment because it's going to be transitioned into like the full-time 100% winery mode, but the rest of the year we have enough space at our other wineries, so all of the wines are stored there once they go to barrel, and that does become like an event space and a tasting space.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, what lights you up about making wines from the North County? Because I'm sitting down here in the South County, so
Yeah.
what do
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about this as we've approached this event, and because I started in Edna Valley, so that was back in 2000. I started at Orchid Road Cellars with Christian Rogana and that gang, and that was early 2000, and so like I feel like my roots are here, in the Edna Valley. Like it's just that's where I spent my first 7 years here, and working with Chuck Hortman and Larry Brooks and George Torquato from Cinnabar and all these guys that were, and that was a really robust period of time where everybody was really growing and learning and expanding. And so it was a great adventure to be kind of encompassed and wrapped into that mix and see all this Edna Valley fruit come in. And now, so it's a nice change of perspective to go to a warm climate and see it's a completely different world. I mean, it really, how things mature, how things ripen, working with the varieties that have a lot more robust tannin, and your approach to winemaking is very different. So I've really enjoyed the challenge of learning what warm climate, can do, and the subtleties between the east side of Paso Robles and the west side of Paso Robles, and what thrives in certain regions and stuff like that. So over the last 10 years, I've gotten to know the blocks that we grow pretty intimately. So it's like, they're kind of friends, it's like, I know you're going to pull this shenanigan again this year, but I'm not falling for it. And so so that is kind of encouraging, and that's what keeps me growing, because you have to always have like a new challenge, a new inspiration, something to kind of push you a little bit. So
to work on every year for sure. How
Yeah.
about you, Molly? Because you've been down here on the coast for a while now, even before Niners. So what do you love about wines?
Yeah, I mean, I started my career in Minnesota, and I moved to Sonoma County and thought that Sonoma County was heaven on earth. I thought it was just the most wonderful place in the world, and then decided to come down here to finish my degree at Cal Poly. That was in 1998, and came down here and immediately knew like this was the place to be. And what I love about it is It's just a great place to make wine, but it's also, there's so much more than that. I mean, I think Napa and Sonoma are great, but they're so wine centric, and like here is just a great quality of life. There's so much other stuff to do, but we also have fantastic vineyards and a great winemaking community. I love the Edna Valley, that it's small. I've worked with a lot of these people now for, I've known your husband for 20 years, and I've learned a lot from him. So it's just a great community, and I think the wines just keep getting better and better, and there's just more and more to learn too. And the region is expanding, with more coastal sites. We are the most coastal site in Edna Valley at Jesperson. We're 4 miles from the ocean, but now we have people outside of the AVA that are pushing the boundaries even further close to the ocean. So it's really exciting to see, and I think everybody that lives here is here for a reason, because they want to be here, and they make wine here because they want to make wine here, and that's what I really love.
Yeah, I used to be able to see Jesperson from my window in my office, but then they had to build that building where the brewery is, and now I look at the brewery instead of Jesperson Ranch. I do think that the Edna Valley, the coast it's still kind of an unsung hero, that the wines are so energetic and delicious here, but we're small. And so it's, we don't have the momentum that some bigger areas have, which is not a reflection, just really a issue.
Yeah, we don't have the marketing power of, nor the, 40-year, 50-year history of Napa Valley to compete with, but that's okay. It's nice for people to come someplace that they can go to the tasting room and meet with the owners, and just feel like it's a little bit less known and less crowded. So I think that's really special.
Well, we can't talk about Niner without talking about your wonderful restaurant and tasting room up there. I actually went to your tasting room on my 50th birthday. That's how much I like that tasting room. I dragged my friends I crashed a pickup party. But the restaurant, are you serving outside these days? I know that you guys are winemakers, but I'm sure you all know what's happening there.
Yeah, so we have full service outside. We have the expansive landscape and chef's garden, so we're able to accommodate quite a few people through the day. It's by reservation only, but we've expanded the garden. See, we had all this time on our hands. It's like, well, what are we going to do with this as we kind of reformat over the last few months? So we've expanded the garden. We've added new seating out in the landscaping, and so it's just a great way to experience it. You're just out there, and taking in the views and enjoying it. But we're serious about the spatial, keeping things apart. We have a nice presentation in tiffins, like these little stackable stainless dishes. So it's kind of a hands-off presentation, and wine is pre-poured. So it's we're trying to keep everyone as safe as possible. But it's nice to just relax and be out in an environment that's not stress inducing.
Yes. Being in the open air and being able to sit down and have nice food is like a dream come true right now for a lot of us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you do have a lot of space up there. That's awesome. You can, just your patio, you can accommodate a lot of people with a lot of space.
Right. And so we're doing meal service throughout the day, starting at I think 10:30 a.m. and going till 5. So we have a kind of a full day that we can serve 7 days a week. And it's great. And then the chef, go ahead.
Didn't you win some award recently? Sorry to spring that on you. Like time is a different timeline now. It could have been like a year ago, but it seems like you won. Was it a?
Yeah, we got, it was the USA Today Best Winery Restaurant in the country. That was, I guess it was about a year ago, because we're up for the running again this year. So yeah, you can go on our website and vote for us if you'd like to. It was a really big honor, because everybody worked so hard to make this restaurant and winery work together. And it's really cool to have the chef's garden on site and have on-site chef that's working specifically with our wines, and we work with him on pairings and things like that. So it's a really great experience. If you haven't been to the restaurant, you should come up and check it out. This is new for us to have a little bit more picnic style, a little bit more informal kind of restaurant approach, and to have it 7 days a week is new because normally, well, pre-COVID, we were only open Thursday through Sunday. So now you can go whatever day of the week you want and enjoy a nice picnic.
That is fantastic. I have not eaten at that restaurant. I need to do that. Yeah, I need to get up there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that, you know, we've taken that local kind of sourcing approach, and beside what we grow, we'll source locally, and you can taste it. I mean, it is pretty remarkable. Like, it's always worked to me, you know, when you're at the same place, but gosh, I get blown away with what they're doing, and I try and sneak over there whenever I can.
They're going to be after your compost pretty soon
Yeah,
for the garden.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they're already pulling from it.
yeah. I've seen little chunks pulled out.
Well, let's talk about what wines can we look forward to that maybe just hit your website or are going to hit your website soon, or is that a sales and marketing question? Like, what's everybody wants to know what's new, or just what's really great? Give us a recommendation on what to buy.
Yeah, I have to admit I'm not super up to date on our current
Yeah, that's
releases,
okay.
but I'm just thinking of like what we just bottled, which is not what we just released.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a bunch of wines to offer, and you know, we have kind of our estate tier and then our reserve tier, which is more like vineyard designate stuff. We've got some great sparkling wine that we're making all in-house, champenoise. That's available on the website and in the tasting room. Patrick, do you have anything exciting that you know that's released recently?
No, I mean, right now as it stands, you know, we have the out of Jesperson, we have the Sauvignon Blanc and Albarino. I think we just sold out on Rosé, so that's now finished up. A Jesperson Syrah that's coming out shortly, which a state level would be really nice as a cool climate example of a Syrah. You know, other than that, we have, you know, we just released a Rhone white blend called Silhouette de Cour, and that was also something that was kind of exciting. So nothing, we always have projects in the, I mean, Molly's got some sparkling cooking right now and different levels, you know, throughout the winery. We've got, you know, some house port that has been sitting on itself for probably 5 years, and we'll most likely bottle at 7. We're always doing something, you know, unique and different and interesting. I just made Verjus last week for the restaurant. We picked second growth Zinfandel and thinned out some of the Grenache to crush it and use it in the restaurant for kind of a acidification. So, you know, in Europe, they didn't have citrus, so they used to make this from unripened fruit, and it's great for vinaigrettes. They did it, cured some ceviche with it instead of lime juice, you know, so we're always up to some.
Heard of such a thing. That's fantastic.
So, something unique. My wife still uses it for a little bit of, it looks like rosé, but she uses it for vinaigrettes at home too. So
That's fantastic. Well, anybody who's attending, if there are any questions, now would be the time. We have a couple people, if you have any questions for Molly or Patrick, or we will probably, I think we're just about out of time. I try to keep it to 30 minutes and we're at 27, so that's pretty right on. Next week, Letitia is going to be on. I don't know what the topic is going to be, and hopefully Eric Hickey knows by now that he's going to be the one on. It's the same Zoom meeting every week and the same password until we get hacked, and at that point we'll change it. Anything else you guys want to add, or can we just say goodbye and thank you for coming?
Yeah, thank you all for coming. Come up and visit if you're, you know, wanting to get out of the house and just get a nice little getaway. Come up to the winery and the restaurant, make an appointment, or you know, you can buy our wine online, www.ninerwine.com, or you know, ask your favorite retailer or restaurant to carry our wine. We're happy to get it out in the world and share it with you guys.
Probably distributed in a lot of states, I would think. So
yes.
People can find your wines Yeah.
Yeah, we're nationwide, not in every state, but in more than half, I believe.
All the good ones. There are some states that aren't worth it. All right, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Go eat something
you.
delicious and drink something wonderful. Thank you for coming.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, everyone.